In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review on multi-tip screwdrivers, and bonus, I'm going to be giving away 6 of the one that I think is the best to my viewers. So stay tuned for the review and the information on the drawing. This video is sponsored by CloudWork Pro, your source for IT contracting around the United States. CloudWork Pro has sponsored this tool review and giveaway. If you're not familiar with CloudWork Pro, they are an IT field tech contracting marketplace. To learn more, visit cloudworkpro.com, or you can click the link in the description. Now onto the tool review. As an IT field tech, I want to have the best tools at my disposal. I want to have convenience, and I want to have versatility. I don't know if you've ever looked for a multi-tip screwdriver, but there are a million of them, and there's a million different styles and options. So I'm going to talk about some of the ones that I have here in front of me today and give you my opinion of what I think is the best and what I carry in my tool bag. In my opinion, the most important aspects of a multi-tip screwdriver are: how many tips do you get with it, how are they stored, how compact is the entire setup, and how easy are the tips to remove and install, and how secure are the tips in the storage device. Another thing that's important to note is the ecosystem, whether they are dual tips, single tips, and will they fit with other screwdrivers. We have a pretty simple option in this Hyper Tough, and this has 3 stored in the handle and 1 stored in the tip. So you've got a total of 4 possible tips. Cobalt takes a different approach to it. You've got this long storage device. You can remove this piece, and so for each one of these pieces, you have 2-sided tips. So these can be rotated. As you can see, they were pretty easy to remove. They're pretty easy to reinsert. So in terms of ease of use, this Cobalt is pretty good. This goes back together very easily. They are 2-sided tips. If these 8 don't work, since they are 2-sided tips, you will have to have 2-sided tips to go with this in addition to the ones that are included. Cobalt says this one is an 11-in-1. So we've got our nut drivers, and you'd have a nut driver here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. So realistically, you have 11 possibilities with this style. Ideal and Klein have similar setups. This is the Klein version. Same basic principle. You've got the internal removable piece and the flippable tips. So again, you've got 8 tips available that are built into it. And that one goes together and comes apart pretty easily as well. This one is made by Ideal. It's a pretty similar concept. Wow, that was really hard to get out. That would be interesting in the field. Now let's see how this does. Okay, that's not too hard to get out. Wow, that is interesting. Good Lord. So, in terms of ease of use, I don't know that that Ideal brand one is really great, but you get the same amount of storage there. Another generic one that I got at Lowe's has that exact same principle. That's pretty easy to open. Again, we've got 8 tips. So that's a pretty common setup because you've got the reversible sides. Okay, that's not bad. That goes together pretty easily. Another nice feature of this style is you also get nut drivers. So you get a nut driver there, and you get a nut driver on this side. Another cheap one that I found at Lowe's was this style, which is very similar to these other ones. A little bit hard to open up. We do have a nut driver there. We've got a dual-sided tip. You'll notice these are a little bit longer, so these are going to be a little bit more proprietary. A 2-sided tip from one of these other ones that will fit. So you've got 2 different size nut drivers, but this is going to sink in there and become irretrievable. So for this particular model, you would need to have these longer 2-sided tips. And the last one of the 11-ish option screwdrivers is this Craftsman. And they have a different approach to how they store and use the tips. This is removable from here. Very long tips, but it is generic in the sense that you should be able to use a single-sided tip. Like that. So this is a non-dual tip system. So this will be more universal for a lot of the tips that you're going to buy in the store that are in packages like this. What's odd to me is that, I mean, this is heavy and bulky, so it doesn't feel really well balanced, and you've only got 6 total tips, and you've only got one size nut driver, because this doesn't come out. So compared to these other styles, you're going to have a lot more tips and a lot more versatility with the nut drivers buying something like this instead of this Craftsman. Now let's talk about ones that have a little bit more storage attached to them. This is a Klein brand, which we looked at a Klein, but this is a different style. Instead of it having the removable end, it just has removable tips. They are also dual-sided, pretty easy to get in and out, but this has nice storage. And if you compare the bulk of this to the Craftsman, it's slightly smaller. And to me, the grip area is a lot larger. This is actually a 27-in-1. The tips are all stored in the handle. They're pretty easy to remove. And of course, they're easy to remove here. So I like that aspect of it. And then close that back up. And the top on this spins. I don't know if you've seen those cheaper style screwdrivers that actually have a threaded top on them, and there's a lot of tip storage in those. They store more tips, but when you're sitting there using it, inevitably you're going to unscrew that cap and it's going to fall off, and then all the tips are going to hit the ground. So I don't really like that style at all. This only has one style nut driver. So if you're looking for something that has nut drivers built in, then these others will be better overall. But if you're looking for something that has more tip storage and more compact form factor, then I think this Klein will do a better job for you. And the last one I want to look at is this Craftsman that comes in a kit. Now there's certain things I like about this. It is ratcheting, and that's a nice effect to it. It does have an extension available, so you can really make it longer if you need to reach a hard to reach place. This takes single-sided tips. This Craftsman kit includes a telescoping magnet as well. It's really thin, so I would think this would bend very easily. I think that would be a concern, but it does have a tip where it will go into your screwdriver. So in theory, you could get some distance out of it, but that does not seem super solid. This doesn't remove, so this is really your only option. So that magnet is not really, okay, well, maybe not liking that at all. Seems like you could have put a strong magnet in here. Now this is nice because you do have so many different tip styles. One thing I will say is that these are not security tips. If you don't know what security tips are, there are a lot of devices out there that will have a center pin, and so you have to have a tip that has a hole in the center to be able to get it on and be able to turn the screw. If you're an IT tech or a field tech or an electrician, you're going to have access to a lot of different security tips. So this set will kind of limit you on being able to do that. You would have to have this set and buy this 100-piece security bit set. So as you can see, these have holes in the center of many of these. This Craftsman comes with this handy dandy little carry case. Everything fits inside it. You've got a place to hold all of your little tips. So it's nice in terms of portability. You'll be able to keep everything in one place and not lose it. Because that's the worst thing about this style is if you don't have a place to store it, then it's going to end up getting lost in a tool bag somewhere and you're never going to be able to find it. As I said earlier in the video, we're going to be doing a giveaway of one of these multi-tip screwdrivers. There's a keyword that you'll need to enter the drawing. This drawing was made possible by CloudWork Pro, your source for IT field service contracting. CloudWork Pro has sponsored this video and they have sponsored the giveaway. They are an on-demand IT marketplace bringing together IT field techs like you and I together with companies that need service tickets completed all across the United States. CloudWork Pro stands apart from other on-demand IT marketplaces in a few key ways. They actually vet every single technician that applies to be a part of their marketplace. Because of that, the technicians that are on CloudWork Pro have 14 years of experience in the field. So you know you'll be working alongside other IT field professionals. In addition, CloudWork Pro filters out their clients as well. They want professionalism on the technician side as well as the buyer side. Because of that, the buyers have received a 99.5% positive rating from the technicians on the marketplace. So you can trust that your talents and experience are going to be rewarded and respected. If that sounds interesting to you, please consider applying at cloudworkpro.com. or I've also included a link in the description that is a referral from Field Tech Academy. Click that link and that will let them know that you were referred to them by our channel. I also have a playlist called Make Money with CloudWork Pro. You can learn more about their marketplace by watching those videos, or of course visiting cloudworkpro.com. Are you ready for the keyword for the drawing? It is screwdriver. And at the end of the video, I'll explain to you how to enter the drawing. And now let's talk about which of these wonderful screwdrivers I think is the best value and the most effective tool for technicians. For me, I want to carry as little as possible in my tool bag. Because of all the types of service calls that I run, I have to have a lot of different tools. These drivers that have 6 tips or 4 tips or even 8 tips, it's just not enough for what I need day to day out in the field. So in my opinion, the best bang for your buck is the Klein Tools 27-in-1. And this is the screwdriver for the drawing. Now in the event that you don't win the drawing, I'm going to have an Amazon link to this in the description of the video. You can click on that, it'll take you directly to it, and you can buy it, and our channel receives a small commission for you buying it through that link. I love the easy removable cap. I love that I have so many tips and they're so easy to work with. But there are a couple of things that are not my favorite things, and I'll talk to you about how I overcome them. But to me, the overall positives and negatives of this screwdriver outweigh the positives and negatives of these other styles. One weakness of this screwdriver is that the tips are two-sided. So in the event that you have a bunch of single-sided tips laying around, they're not going to fit in this properly. They're just going to sink down into it a little bit too deep to really be practical to use. To offset this issue, I buy these little 100-piece security bit sets on Amazon. And again, they're like $10. You want to make sure that the one you buy and the one that I'll link will have this receiver in it. So in the event you did need a different size than what's in the handle, you can put this in, and this magnet is strong enough to actually hold it in place. It's not going to fall out, and then you can use whatever tip that you need in addition to what's in the handle. One other oddball issue that I found with this screwdriver is that it did not come with a standard Phillips and a standard flathead. So what I do to offset that is I actually get on Amazon and I buy the Klein Phillips and flathead dual-sided tip. I get the PH1 for the smaller sizes and the PH2, and I just remove a couple of the tips that I don't really need that often, that I haven't used, and I carry those with me so that I always have a good Phillips and flathead. And the winners of the drawings will receive the screwdriver and the extra tips, so you have the same setup that I have. Now before I give you the information on how to enter the drawing, I just want to say thank you to our video sponsor, CloudWork Pro. They are your source for IT field service contracting. Learn more about them at cloudworkpro.com. If you'd like to enter the drawing, go to our website at fieldtechacademy.com, go to our Contact Us page, and there will be a form to fill out to send us a message. It'll ask for your email address, there'll be a subject line, and that's where you'll want to put the keyword that I gave you earlier in the video. I will enter you in the drawing. From the date this video goes live, we will take entrants for 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, I will build a spreadsheet with everyone who has applied, and I will do a random number generator to select 6 of you to receive this screwdriver and the tips. If you enjoyed this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Subscription is not necessary for entrants, but it is appreciated. And as always, let's get you out in the field making money with effective tools, and I'll see you in the next video.